Okay, so in this lecture, we're going to talk about your website hierarchy. It's really important that you define your business website hierarchy before you actually start building the actual website itself. So essentially, it's pretty simple, but what you'll find is that you will come back into it and you'll add as you go along. But if you have a basic idea to begin with, you will build your website a lot quicker and a lot more secure, and you'll realize that there's things that you're missing that you're thinking along the lines. So anyways, let's start defining it. So the first thing obviously that you're going to want is a home page. And what exactly is your home page going to describe? Okay, so we're going to go like this. We're going to say home page and talk about the products and vision of the company. Okay, so that'll be the home page. So now the next, what's another page that you're going to want on there? Well, you're going to want the contact page, right? So we're going to want a page. So this page is going to be allow people to contact us. Alright, so that's great. So we've got that now. Now, what else would we need on there? Well, a couple things I can think of are we need the privacy statement and terms of service. Okay, why do we need this? Well, this is needed to comply with many countries' regulations. Okay, so I'll show you a very simple way of doing this. Okay, now what else do we need in here? Well, if you are actually involved in the GDPR, you're going to need that statement. So we're going to go GDPR notification. Okay, so you'll see what that means in a minute. It's no big deal. It's a new set of regulations that came into play when there was new internet security and business rules put in place. Very simple to put in place. I think it's called GDPR. We'll figure out what it's called. Anyways, now we've gotten to that point. Now let me fix this. Sorry. So we've gotten to this point. So right now, all we really have is a home page and a contact page, okay? Now, the privacy statement and the notification are really not part and parcel of the menu system. And I'll show you how we actually work that out afterwards. There's a couple of plugins that actually work well for this. So that's one thing we're going to do is we're just going to note what are plugins, what are posts, what are pages, okay? So we're going to go plugin. So we've got this now. Now, the other thing you may want is a blog. Now, why would you want a blog? Okay. Allow our users to learn from us. Okay? Now, why would you want to do that? Okay? Well, why you want to do that is that you see a lot of companies, you go out there and you see a lot of companies, and they have their web page that comes up, and it's got their home page talks about their things, and a link to their products, and a contact page, and that's about it. Okay? Well, invariably, if you go and look at any of those companies and do a search, a generic search on something that the company sells or the area that they work in, they're not going to rank very well. And the main reason for that is that Google and Bing and all the search engines, they want to see content. Now, a blog allows you to talk about various things that are going on within your company, within your world, and so on and so forth. So unless you're like a company that's a leader, so for instance IBM or something like that, you're not going to rank. you're just not going to rank in the search engines unless you have a good amount of content and have some information that people are looking for. So to give you an example of how this actually works, let's go over here and let's say we typed in coffee. Okay? Pretty generic thing. Well, look, the things that are coming up right away. Craft Canada. Well, Craft, they're big. Amazon, they're big. Of course they're going to come up. But here's one called Valentus. Okay? Now, why would they come up like that? So let's go take a peek. If you look at Valentus, look at what they've got. They've got products, they've got orders, they've got the company, they talk about things within the company, our mission. See all the content on the pages and stuff? Do not get fooled in the fact that because this content is in here, that they do not have a lot more content out there on the internet. If we go back, okay, so you're going to see that that's what's happening there. Now this is from Yahoo. Watch what happens when we go to Google and do a coffee search. And don't forget, Google owns about 95% of the search market. So google.com, okay? Now we're going to type in coffee, okay? Now, they're going to come up with these things, which we've got to ignore at the moment because that's a different thing. But look what they've got. Coffee Wikipedia, the best cafes in Shelburne. So they're doing local searches around me now. And then they've got the Beandock Coffee and Collectibles, okay? And as far as the generics go and stuff, they're coming in with all the local stuff that is to me, okay? So Canadian Tire, like what does Canadian Tire have to do with coffee? But yet Tim Hortons does. So what they're doing is they're choosing local coffee areas near me, okay? So that's the one thing that you got to realize is that in order to get up at the top in something as generic as coffee, it's going to be really, really hard unless you have a lot of content, okay? Now, if we wanted to see coffee beans, okay, and we say, okay, now we got Amazon and then we got coffeebarn.ca. So why does coffeebarn.ca show up? Well, that's because it's an ad, okay? So you got to ignore the ads. Then we've got Wikipedia again. Then we've got a bunch of local stuff. Then we've got stuff coming in here. The complete guide on how to buy the best coffee beans 2019. So guess why these guys show up where they do. Okay, I'm going to show you. Here's why. Okay, here is a blog that they have created that is showing, that has a whole lot of information inside of it. So this website itself has a lot of information. So if you go to brewing, okay, look at all the articles they have. This is why this site is showing up, right? So if you click on buying over here, this site is nothing but articles about coffee, okay? So that's why it's showing up. That's why it's very important that you set up a blog on your company website and put some content in there, because you are competing against people like this, okay? So if you went and you just set up a basic website, I'll go back to our search results. You set up a basic website, so let's go down and see if we can find a website. Let's go to one of the other sites here and stuff. Let's find a... Okay, so here's Canterbury Coffee, Products Coffee, okay? So what it's doing is it's going to take us right into their products page. Why they're showing up is because they happen to have a fair amount of information about the products itself. But they don't really have much in the way of blogs or information or content. So that's why you want to set up your actual website so that you have a blog on it, okay? So that's very important. Now the other thing we want to have is we want to have a shopping cart. So this will display and sell our products. So now what we've got is we're only missing one thing that Google looks for. And trust me, I'm going to concentrate more on Google in here than I am anything else. Because Google, like I said, owns about 95% of the search market. So you want to make sure that you take advantage of it. So the one thing they look for is they look for an About Us page. Okay? And what that's for is to tell customers what you are about. Okay? And although you're going to talk about it on the home page as well, you're going to get into detail here. And you're going to see that if you put all of these things in place, your site within 3 to 6 months will start outranking some sites that you never ever thought were possible. Big key though to doing that is with your blog, you need to update and add at least twice a week. Okay? You have to stay on top of that. If you do not, you will fall in behind the ranks and it just will not work out. It's as simple as that. So the key here is to have content. Okay? So now we've got the basic hierarchy set up for the website. So in the next lecture, we will start building. Okay? Thank you very much, and I'll talk to you in the next lecture.